Yo, we back with another one. BasMagazine, BackRoom Podcast, Jay Coolin, shout out B Blanco. And we're here with a very, very special guest, man. We're here with Epiphany from Broward County, Florida.
Hey, beautiful people. I am Epiphany, affectionately known as Piph. I am a Broward County native, spoken word artist, poet, getting into songwriting, also an audio engineer on the back end, so that part is cool. Thank you guys for having me.
All right, so just to start, Epiphany, man, I hope I get a quick enlightenment right now. But, but I just want you to talk about a little bit about your journey. How'd you get started? You said you're a poet 1st, and I think when you was performing, I heard a little bit of singing, a little bit of vibes. You know, tell us a little bit about that.
Right. So I always say I'm a poet first, a singer immediately after. I started writing poetry when I was 11. My eldest brother suggested that I write. I was in a really dark place, and he wanted me to express myself, and I'm an avid reader. So he said, you read so much, you should try writing. So I started writing when I was about 11. I'm now 27, so it's who I am. It's part of my identity. It's something that is ingrained in me. I also found out I could sing in a very weird way. I was singing gospel music at my aunt's house, and she was like, you know you can sing, right? And I was like, huh. So it sounds good. And I kind of stuck with that. And I went to Dillard Center for the Performing Arts and kind of majored in vocal. But that's kind of like, it's not a hidden talent. People know that I can sing. It's just something that I haven't explored enough or really pursued. And so that's something that I really want to get into. But I know that it's a skill that I have. So.
Okay. So I was gonna give it back to you, but I got a little question though before you go. So you said you are an avid reader. Mm-hmm. Can you tell me 3 books that would explain who you are as a person, or that could really dictate your thought process?
Yeah, that's a fire question. So I'll start with The Giver. I don't remember the author, but it was something that I read in middle school. Okay. It's about like a dystopian society. They tried to make everybody be the same, and they realized like that structure doesn't work. And I feel like our society's kind of headed in that direction of trying to strip people of their uniqueness. But that book always stood out to me. The next one is Island Beneath the Sea by Isabel Allende. It's a fictional narrative, but it's set in the Haitian Revolution. My parents are Haitian. I identify as Haitian.
Hey, Big Z.
So that one was really dope and amazing. And then the last one is my book, if I could get it off the table. Muppy, by me, for us, is an embodiment of who I am as a person. It's my journey. I even have the first ever poem that I ever wrote in the book.
So yeah, I'm glad you segued into your book. Definitely, man. Definitely go get Muppy for sure. And where can we find this?
It is on Amazon. I have physical copies, so if someone wants to DM me, they can order a signed copy and I'll ship it to them. Or if they're local, I'll drop it off to them.
Fire. So obviously, man, just hearing your poetry up there, you definitely speak about, you know what I'm saying, you definitely speak on for black guys, black boys. You definitely speak for just the culture in general. And I just want to say we really, really appreciate that.
Thank you.
You've been doing this for some time now.
Mm-hmm.
What led you, I mean, obviously we know what led you, obviously, to make the book. I just want to talk about what was your journey with making this book.
Okay. So for me, I had done about 4 or 5 therapy sessions. I was in a really not dark place. It was very destructive. I was sad and anxious and worked up, and I could never calm myself down. And after about 4 or 5 sessions of therapy, she just helped me set some goals for myself. And one of them was to just get this book out. I have a bunch of poems. I have a bunch of poems that never even made it into the book. So I had the content. It was just a matter of doing something with it. So I created a compilation of all my poems and brought it together and sat at home and did it myself on Amazon. I reached out to my friends. The mouth on the cover of the book is a friend of mine. His name is Nate. In Circle Visuals is the photographer who took pictures for the book. And then after that, I went home and I got all the PDFs together and I published it myself on Amazon. So
congratulations.
Thank you.
So, what does the term Muppy mean?
Great question. So Muppy is everything and nothing at all. Muppy is a colloquialism that you can, like, this could be a Muppy, a table's a Muppy, a Muppy, pass me my Muppy. Like, it's just something that is defined in context. The reason I decided to title the book that is because it's very niche and very specific. So if someone sees that word and they know that word, then I know they my people. You get what I'm saying? And that was something about writing the book when I wanted to dedicate it to Broward and I wanted to speak to my people like that was like the overarching theme, like finding my people. Even if everybody who reads it is not from Broward, and some of the poetry that they can relate to, you're my people if you can relate to Paper, Skin, and Glass Houses, because that means you're on a journey of healing. If you can relate to my poem about rent, that means you can relate to the fact that we're working class. That's something that we have to worry about. I have the Florida girls, I have the Florida boys. I have a poem that is an ode to my grandmother. It means you my people because you can relate to being family oriented and respecting your ancestry and your lineage. So there's something to relate to. But Muppy is just very specific. I just needed to talk about home for real. So anybody who recognizes that knows what I'm talking about.
It's like a call to action, basically. Yes, love it. Fire, man.
Yeah.
For someone that's purchasing this book, right? What is something that you want them to walk away with after they get to the very last page and they're like, damn?
I want them to walk away with a voice. So I think what people can appreciate about my poetry is that I sound like myself. And with that being said, if you have a conversation with me, the person who gets on stage will not be a new entity or a new spirit or a different brand. There are people who talk to me and they're like, do you do something? And I'm like, yeah, but I won't say anything. And then I'll do the poem and they're not even surprised because they can tell, like, that's who you are. I think I'm meant to speak. I think I'm meant to talk. I think I'm meant to tell a story. And I feel like anybody who has a story is meant to be the person who tells it. And so in reading Muppy and sitting with Muppy, I hope that someone walks away with their own voice. When you write a poem, when you decide to share, when you decide to explore your journey, make sure you sound like you. You're not trying to be anybody else. You're not trying to tell it from a third person point of view. Be in your story and use your voice, because that's what is to be respected.
Facts.
Yeah.
Oh, you good?
Yeah, go ahead.
Right, so I've noticed. I'm about to say somebody need the mic back. So, I noticed that you start every performance with Florida Boys. Talk about that significance of Florida Boys.
Yeah. So I wrote the poem. The first line was inspired by another Florida boy. He has a poem, and somewhere in the poem he goes, they say something about them Florida boys, and then he get to talking about them being on the porch or something. That's all I can remember from the poem, but I do give him his respect for that. So I took that line, I created a Florida girls poem, and I said, it's something about them Florida girls, and I have a whole poem. It's like third poem in the book. And then one day I'm at work, I'm working my little corporate 9 to 5, and a friend of mine called me from jail. And because I was working, I put it on speaker. It was my other best friend was in the room, so I didn't feel weird about that. He calls, and when he says hello, he doesn't sound okay. And I mean, anybody in jail wouldn't sound okay, but he sounded a different type of, energy. So I took him off speaker and I'm talking to him. And he's like, it's weird in here, man. I can't even be myself. And I thought about the fact that, like, a Florida boy can be somebody who goes to jail and can also be somebody who's afraid of jail at the same time. You know what I mean? Somebody who could be in that position and do what they got to do to get there, but also still be a boy, still need community, still need those things. And so I created that poem. The poem took off. The poem has a power. It doesn't matter where I am. It doesn't matter what the audience looks like. Every single person always responds to that poem, and that caught me off guard. That's not something that I expected. I feel like I've done the poem so much, I am a Florida boy. Like, I do the poem everywhere all the time, but it's just what it does to the room, what it does to a space is so powerful that it even throws me off sometimes, which is why I said in my performance that, like, if you have a gift, you have to use it. When I do that poem, Florida boys feel seen, and those who know Florida boys have a moment of admiration for them. Wherever you at with them, if you're at odds, if you feel away about them, after I do that poem, you kind of got to respect them for that minute and a half I'm doing the poem, because I'm explaining something that they can relate to. And then you get to see these grown men who've probably had a bad day, who've probably been told that they ain't nothing or had whatever narrative told to them about themselves. You kind of see them light up for a moment. And I mean, that's all I can give you, but it's something.
It's representation.
You know what I mean? And so I just open it up that way because I feel like that sets the tone for who I am as a person, as an artist, as a poet.
Thank you.
Okay, word, yeah.
Yeah.
He felt it. You see what I'm saying?
Florida boy. Florida dog. Nah, but hey, thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me.
This was great. Once again, Epiphany. If you haven't already, man, definitely cop Muppy. It's everywhere. He said Amazon, and you also have personal copies, man. DM this young lady, and definitely take a look at this book, man.
Okay, I'm on Instagram, PIPHISMS. I'm also on YouTube, Epiphany. I am on Spotify as Piph. My project is called Heaven and Hardship. You can find me on Twitter, but you're going to have to do your own work because I'm a bad influence on Twitter. So I don't plug my Twitter. But if you find it, we're going to have a good time. That's all I can say.
All right, y'all. Boss Magazine, BackRoom Podcast, Epiphany, man. Another one. Appreciate y'all. Thank you.